When ABC aired Roots in 1977, they were worried it wouldn't get much attention, but instead, it became one of the biggest TV events ever. Around 100 million people, half the country at the time, tuned in for the final episode. The show didn't just break records, it also sparked a huge cultural shift. Black viewers started looking into their own family histories, and the series reignited conversations about race in America. But while Roots left a lasting mark on society, what happened to the cast after the cameras stopped rolling? Today, we'll catch up with the stars and see where their lives have taken them in 2024. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's dive in. Number 1. LeVar Burton as Kunta Kinte. Kunta Kinte was a young man from Gambia, Africa. He belonged to a strong and respected family. Kunta was smart, tough, and proud. He was also a warrior, skilled in fighting and educated in the ways of his people. When slave traders captured him, Kunta never gave up hope of returning home. He encouraged other slaves to fight for their freedom and never stopped dreaming of a day when he would be free. At just 19 years old, LeVar Burton skyrocketed to fame with his groundbreaking role in the television phenomenon Roots, ABC, 1977. This monumental miniseries didn't just catapult him into the spotlight, it forever changed the landscape of American television. Yet, despite this meteoric rise, Burton faced a frustrating reality. After Roots, meaningful roles were hard to come by for over a decade. It wasn't until 1987 when he donned the iconic visor as Geordi LaForge in Star Trek: The Next Generation, syndicated 1987 to 1994, that he made a powerful return to the spotlight. In the years immediately following Roots, Burton was still riding high, landing prominent roles in TV movies like Billy, Portrait of a Street Kid, CBS, 1977, and One in a Million, The Ron LaFleur Story, CBS, 1978. But by the early 80s, those leading roles had all but dried up, leaving him to navigate a string of guest appearances and smaller parts in television films. While his long-running role as the host of the beloved children's program Reading Rainbow, PBS, 1982 to 2005, brought him personal fulfillment, it was his casting as Lieutenant Commander LaForge that marked his true pop culture comeback. LeVar Burton tied the knot with professional makeup artist Stephanie Cozart on October 3, 1992. The couple has 2 children, a son named Ian Burton Smith and a daughter, Michaela Mika Jean Burton. The family calls Sherman Oaks, California, home. In 2024, during an appearance on Finding Your Roots, Burton discovered some surprising family history. One of his great-great-grandfathers was a Confederate soldier, while another, Hal B. Burton, was a black member of the Arkansas House of Representatives. He is now 67 years old. Number 2. Robert Reed as Dr. William Reynolds. Reynolds was the master of his own little kingdom. His slaves were his subjects, their lives bound to his will. He dictated their every move, their every word, their very existence. This was the cruel reality of slavery, a system built on the belief that one person could own another. Reynolds tried to wear the mask of a benevolent ruler, a caring father to his enslaved family. But beneath the facade lurked a cold, calculating mind that saw them as mere tools, property to be bought, sold, and exploited. Tall and curly-haired, Robert Reed was often cast in roles where he played business-suited father figures. His career in TV began in the 1960s, mostly in forgettable series, but his big break came as a crusading lawyer on The Defenders. However, Reed is best remembered as the man named Brady with 3 boys of his own on the classic 70s family sitcom The Brady Bunch. Later, he had significant roles in the miniseries Rich Man, Poor Man, 1976, and Roots, 1977. Reed married fellow Northwestern student Marilyn Rosenberger in July 1954. They had a daughter, Karen Reitz, before divorcing in 1959. Despite his family man image, Reed kept his sexual orientation a closely guarded secret. as being openly gay during that era could have ended his career. It wasn't until years after his death that his Brady Bunch co-stars, including Barry Williams and Florence Henderson, publicly acknowledged that Reed was gay and shared that the entire cast and crew knew about it. In a 2000 interview, Henderson reflected on Reed's hidden life, saying, "Here he was, the perfect father and husband on screen, but off camera, he was unhappy. If he hadn't been forced to live a double life, I think it would have eased a lot of his frustration. I never asked him about it. I had a lot of compassion for him because I knew how much he was struggling to keep this secret." Barry Williams also spoke about Reed's reluctance to discuss his sexuality. In the same interview, he shared, "Robert didn't want to go there. He didn't talk about it, not with anyone. If it had come out that Robert Reed was gay, it could have ended the Brady Bunch and seriously damaged his career." Sadly, he died of cancer on May 12, 1992, at Huntington Memorial Hospital in Pasadena, California, at age 59. Number 3. John Amos as older Kunta Kinte. Enslaved, beaten, and stripped of everything, Kunta Kinte refused to give up. More than just surviving, he became a symbol of strength and hope, standing tall even in the face of unimaginable hardship. Kunta Kinte's story is one of incredible resilience. Despite the harsh realities of slavery, he held on to his inner strength. His constant attempts to escape, even after facing severe punishment, showed his unbreakable determination to fight for his freedom. John Amos, a commanding presence both on stage and screen, left an indelible mark on television as James Evans, Sr., the proud and hard-working father on the groundbreaking sitcom Good Times, CBS 1974-79. Although his time on the show was cut short after just 3 seasons due to creative differences with the producers, Amos's portrayal of a strong, realistic African-American father became iconic. His performance paved the way for other actors like Bill Cosby, who followed in his footsteps during the next decade. Amos's career didn't stop with Good Times. He continued to shine in memorable roles, including his portrayal of the adult Kunta Kinte in the landmark miniseries Roots, ABC 1977. He also took on notable recurring roles, such as a police captain in the first season of Hunter, NBC 1984-1991, and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff on the West Wing, NBC 1999-2006. On the big screen, Amos brought his trademark authority to diverse characters, from the ambitious restaurateur in Coming to America, 1988, to a rare villainous turn in Die Hard 2, 1990. No matter the role, Amos always exuded a sense of gravitas that made him unforgettable. Sadly, John Amos passed away from congestive heart failure on August 21, 2024, in Inglewood, California, at the age of 84. His death was not announced until October 1, 2024, leaving fans and the industry to mourn the loss of a truly remarkable actor. Number 4. Louis Gossett Jr. as Fiddler. Fiddler, a talented musician with a sharp wit, had carved out a relatively comfortable existence for himself within the confines of slavery. Thanks to his musical skills, he was often rented out by the Waller family to perform on various plantations, allowing him to avoid the harsh labor of the fields. Through his fiddle, he found a rare sense of freedom in an otherwise oppressive world. Despite his fortunate position, Fiddler remained a loyal friend and mentor to Kunta Kinte. He offered practical advice, teaching him how to survive and navigate the brutal realities of slavery. At just 16 years old, Louis Gossett Jr. made a bold debut on Broadway, wowing audiences with his performances in The Desk Set, 1955, and A Raisin in the Sun, 1959. While his rise on television and film was slower, his breakthrough came with his Emmy-winning role in the iconic miniseries Roots, 1977. Despite the success of Roots, Gossett didn't receive the flood of opportunities many expected. It wasn't until his portrayal of a no-nonsense drill sergeant in An Officer and a Gentleman, 1982, that Gossett became the first African-American to win an Academy Award since Sidney Poitier in 1964. Even with this landmark achievement, quality roles remained scarce, leading Gossett into a personal battle with depression, worsened by struggles with drugs and alcohol. However, he managed to turn things around with numerous TV movies and a popular role as an Air Force colonel in Iron Eagle, 1985. Despite some roles in less notable films, his lengthy and diverse career solidified Gossett's reputation as one of the most respected actors of his generation. Throughout the 1990s and early 2000s, Lou Gossett Jr. faced serious health challenges, including a life-threatening illness that had doctors predicting he had just 6 months to live. In 2001, he discovered that toxic mold in his Malibu home had contributed significantly to his condition. In February 2010, Gossett revealed that he had been diagnosed with prostate cancer. But fortunately, it was caught early, and he remained optimistic about making a full recovery. Later, in December 2020, Gossett was hospitalized with COVID-19 in Georgia. Sadly, on March 29, 2024, at the age of 87, Lou Gossett Jr. passed away from chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, at a rehabilitation center in Santa Monica, California, with heart failure and atrial fibrillation contributing to his death. Number 5. Linda Day George as Mrs. Reynolds. Mrs. Reynolds was the boss's wife on the plantation. She was really important because she had a lot of power over the slaves and other people who worked there. She was a strong woman who knew what she wanted. Even though she was the boss, Mrs. Reynolds was sometimes nice to the slaves. She was especially kind to Kizzy, a young slave girl. She taught Kizzy how to read and write, which was a big deal. This showed that she wasn't always mean and that she could be kind, even though she was in a powerful position. Linda Day George was a familiar presence on American television in the 1960s and 70s, although she never graduated to true stardom. Born and raised in a small Central Texas town, the teenage Linda Day moved to Hollywood and began taking small guest roles in popular TV crime dramas and westerns of the era, including hit shows like Bonanza, The Fugitive, and Mannix, before finally gaining her most prominent role as Lisa Casey opposite Peter Graves in the later seasons of the hit action show Mission Impossible. While filming the John Wayne western Chisholm in 1969, she fell in love with her co-star Christopher George, taking his surname after they married. The George worked together regularly throughout the 1970s, both in TV movies and in a series of European low-budget horror films that have grown in popularity with the grindhouse crowd over the years, including Day of the Animals and Mortuary. After Christopher George died in 1983, Linda Day George largely retired from acting, making only occasional TV appearances for the rest of the decade. She appeared sporadically in guest roles on popular TV shows like Fantasy Island, Murder, She Wrote, Hardcastle and McCormick, and Black's Magic, often portraying different characters. She also became a regular guest on various religious television programs during that time. One of her final notable roles came in 1989 when she reprised her role as Lisa Casey in an episode of the revived Mission Impossible series. In a surprising turn, George announced in 2021 that she was ready to return to acting, reigniting interest in her career. She is now 79 years old. Number 6. Olivia Cole as Matilda. Matilda's faith was her anchor, her shield, her guiding light in the tempestuous sea of slavery. It was a beacon that illuminated her path and gave her the strength to endure the unimaginable. Her deep belief in Christianity shaped who she was and how she acted. Her strong faith gave her the inner strength to face the harsh realities of her life. A black character player of numerous period TV miniseries, usually cast as mature, overly proper, stylish women, Olivia Cole is perhaps best recalled for her Emmy-winning turn as Matilda, wife of Chicken George, Ben Vereen, and great-grandmother of Alex Haley on the famed miniseries Roots, ABC, 1977. After completing studies at RADA in London, Cole spent several years honing her craft in regional theater. She landed her first regular TV role on the CBS daytime soap The Guiding Light, before segueing to features and primetime in the mid-70s. Her film roles include small supporting parts in Heroes, 1977, and Coming Home, 1978. She was particularly effective as the long-suffering wife of the bitter husband and father, Paul Winfield, in the 1984 production of James Baldwin's Go Tell It on the Mountain. Cole has appeared as Ned Beatty's district supervisor on the CBS sitcom Shishnik, 1977, and later played Michael Keaton's social worker boss on Report to Murphy, ABC, 1982. Finding herself typecast in period pieces and as characters that were older and dowdier than herself, the actress became less active in film and TV in the 90s. Her final film role came in the Ice Cube comedy First Sunday, 2008. Olivia Cole died of a heart attack in Mexico in January 2018. She was 75. Number 7. Madge Sinclair as Belle Reynolds. As a cook on the Reynolds plantation, Belle got to be tough, both physically and mentally. When Kunta Kinte loses his foot, Belle's resilience shines through. She pushes him to his limits, mocking him to stir up his pride. It's a tough love approach, but it works. Belle helps Kunta find the strength to walk again, proving she's a real inspiration. But Belle's not just strong, she's also incredibly compassionate. She loves Kunta and her daughter Kizzy deeply, and she'll do anything to protect them. Madge Sinclair, born Madge Dorita Walters on April 28, 1938 in Kingston, Jamaica, had a remarkable journey. After marrying young and raising 2 sons, she worked as a teacher in Jamaica until she was 30. In 1968, she made a bold move to New York City to pursue her dream of becoming an actress, leaving her boys in the care of their father. Once in New York, Madge began her career as a model and soon found her footing on stage, performing with the New York Shakespearean Festival and at Joseph Papp's Public Theater. Her film debut came in 1974 with a role as Mrs. Scott in Conrack, but it was her standout performance as Belle Reynolds in the groundbreaking miniseries Roots, 1977, that earned her an Emmy Award nomination, cementing her place in television history. In 1982, just after joining the cast of Trapper John, M.D., 1979, Madge was diagnosed with leukemia. Despite the grim prognosis from doctors, she continued to work, defying expectations and showcasing her strength for several more years. Sadly, Madge Sinclair passed away on December 20, 1995, at the age of 57, in Los Angeles, California, after a courageous 13-year battle with the disease. Her legacy as a talented actress and trailblazer remains inspiring to many. Number 8. Ben Vereen as Chicken George Moore. Chicken George is a showstopper. He's got a flamboyant style with his black derby hat and rooster feathers, and he's a natural-born entertainer. He's a master of cockfighting, and he's got the charm to captivate any crowd. But George is more than just a pretty face. He's a survivor. Born into slavery, he's faced countless challenges, but he's never given up. He's determined to make a better life for himself and his family, and he'll do anything to achieve his goals. His resilience is a testament to his strength and spirit. Ben Vereen's career reads like a playlist of modern Broadway hits. He burst onto the scene in the 1970s with iconic roles in Pippin and Hare, and he continued to shine in the 1990s with performances in Jelly's Last Jam and I'm Not Rappaport. Fast forward to the new millennium, and you'll find him as the Wizard of Oz in Wicked. Known for embodying the sultry, charismatic style of choreographer Bob Fosse, Vereen earned acclaim for his role in Sweet Charity, received a Tony nomination for Jesus Christ Superstar, and appeared in the film adaptation of Fosse's All That Jazz in 1979. He also showcased his talent in the beloved Barbra Streisand musical Funny Lady in 1975. But Vereen isn't just about musicals. He made a significant impact on television, too. His role in Alex Haley's groundbreaking miniseries Roots earned him an Emmy nomination, and he hosted the 80s children's show Zoobilee Zoo. More recently, he had a key part in the Rocky Horror Picture Show Let's Do the Time Warp Again in 2016. Despite facing personal challenges throughout his life, Vereen has always been known for his hard work, high standards, and professionalism. His successful one-man shows have won him accolades like Entertainer of the Year and Song and Dance Star from the American Guild of Variety Artists. With a legacy that resonates with younger performers, he remains a respected figure in the Broadway community, proving that his passion and dedication are truly timeless. In the early 1980s, Ben and his family settled in Saddle River, New Jersey. However, after 36 years of marriage, he filed for divorce from his wife, Nancy Bruner Vereen, in September 2012, citing irreconcilable differences. Now, at 77 years old, Vereen continues to be a significant figure in the arts, despite the challenges he's faced in his personal life. Number 9. Leslie Uggams as Kizzy Reynolds. Kizzy stood out like a firebrand in a world filled with despair, her spirit shining brighter than any torch in the darkest of nights. She was a fierce young woman, marked by an unyielding will and a fierce determination to claim her identity in a society that sought to strip it away. With unwavering courage, she forged a travel pass, knowing full well the severe consequences she could face if caught. Her heart was set on freedom, not just for herself, but for the man she loved. Leslie Marion Uggams was born on May 25, 1943, in New York City to a singer father and a dancer mother, so it's no surprise that she followed in their footsteps. At just 6 years old, she performed at the legendary Apollo Theater, and by the age of 12, she was already making waves on the game show Name That Tune. Her talent caught the eye of record executives, leading to a deal with Columbia Records. Uggams's breakout role came when she portrayed Kizzy in the groundbreaking miniseries Roots. Her portrayal of Kizzy, the daughter of Kunta Kinte, earned her critical acclaim, along with nominations for an Emmy and a Golden Globe. In the 1980s, Uggams focused on the stage, showcasing her incredible talent in productions like Blues of the Night, 1982, Jerry's Girls, 1985, and Anything Goes, 1989. While her acting became less frequent in the following years, she still made memorable appearances in the film Sugar Hill, 1993, and earned a Tony Award for her role in the Broadway production of King Hedley II, 2001. She also featured in the acclaimed drama series Nurse Jackie, Showtime, 2009 to 2015. In a delightful twist, Uggams returned to the big screen as Blind Al in the hit Marvel film Deadpool, 2016, proving that her talent knows no bounds. Leslie Uggams's journey from a young performer to a beloved star is a shining example of resilience and artistry in the entertainment world. She is now 81 years old. Number 10. Lloyd Bridges as Evan Brent. Evan Brent was really mad about the South losing the Civil War. This anger made him treat black people, who were now free, very badly. He didn't like that slavery was over and wanted to keep things the way they were before. Brent was a mean person. He used threats and violence to scare black people and show them who was boss. He wanted to get back at them for what he thought they did to the South. He was especially mean to Tom Harvey and his family, making it hard for them to live their lives freely. A popular and talented leading man for 5 decades, Lloyd Bridges began his career playing gritty men of action in films like Home of the Brave, 1949, and High Noon, 1952, and finished it as a madcap player in such slapstick films as Airplane and Hot Shots, 1991. Along the way, he became a television star thanks to Sea Hunt and starred in numerous television series and movies. The father of actors Jeff and Beau Bridges and grandfather to Jordan Bridges, he experienced a career upswing in the 1980s thanks to Airplane and worked tirelessly in dramas, comedies, and everything in between until his death in 1998. His tenacity, talent, and charisma made him a favorite of multiple generations of viewers. Lloyd Bridges met his wife, Dorothy Bridges, while they were both members of the same fraternity. The couple tied the knot in 1938 in New York City, embarking on a partnership that would last a lifetime. Together, they welcomed 4 children, 2 talented actors, Beau Bridges, born in 1941, and Jeff Bridges, born in 1949, as well as their daughter, Lucinda Louise Bridges, born in October 1953. They also had a son, Garrett Miles Bridges, who tragically passed away from sudden infant death syndrome on August 3, 1948. Their family tree continued to grow, with Jordan Bridges, Beau's son, carrying on the family legacy in the entertainment industry. To commemorate their enduring love, Lloyd and Dorothy renewed their vows on their 50th wedding anniversary. Sadly, Lloyd Bridges passed away from natural causes on March 10, 1998, at the age of 85. Number 11. Chuck Connors as Tom Moore. Tom Moore was a monster. He was a slave owner who treated his slaves with terrible cruelty. Moore saw enslaved people as nothing more than things he owned, not as human beings. He bought Kizzy and raped her, which led to the birth of their son Georg. Moore was a strict and mean person. He ruled his plantation with fear and violence. He was also very manipulative. Moore used his power to make people afraid and hopeless, so they would do whatever he wanted. Chuck Connors, with his towering 6'5" frame and signature lantern jaw, became a household name thanks to his role as Lucas McCain, the tough but fair sharpshooter on The Rifleman, 1958-63. Before finding fame on TV, Connors first pursued a career in sports. After serving in World War II, he briefly played pro basketball with the Boston Celtics, but soon switched to baseball, playing for the Brooklyn Dodgers and Chicago Cubs. While his antics on the field often drew more attention than his performance, Connors' real calling turned out to be acting. His big break came unexpectedly when a casting director for MGM, who was a baseball fan, noticed him and recommended him for a role in the Spencer Tracy Katharine Hepburn film Pat and Mike, 1952. Although originally slated to play a prize fighter, Connors ended up portraying a state police captain. This experience led him to abandon his athletic dreams and fully commit to acting, where his muscular build and strong presence made him stand out. Connors quickly landed roles in films and TV shows, with a key part in William Wyler's The Big Country, 1958, and appearances in various television series. His big moment came in 1958 with The Rifleman, which enjoyed a successful 5-year run. Over the years, Connors showcased his range, playing both heroic figures and villains in movies and TV shows alike. Chuck Connors passed away at 71 from lung cancer and pneumonia on November 10, 1992, in Los Angeles, California. He was laid to rest at San Fernando Mission Cemetery, where his tombstone features a photo of him as Lucas McCain from The Rifleman, along with the logos of the Dodgers, Cubs, and Celtics, paying tribute to his unique career in both sports and entertainment. Number 12. Georg Stanford Brown as Tom Harvey. Tom Harvey got his strong spirit from his great-grandfather, Kunta Kinte. Even though he was a slave, he never let anyone take away his dignity or hurt his family. He always tried to take care of them, no matter how hard things were. Harvey was a strong person, but he didn't like to fight. He was usually calm, but when he needed to be tough, he was. This showed how strong he was inside and how he could handle difficult times without giving up on himself. Cuban-American Emmy winner Georg Stanford Brown began his career in the mid-1960s as a working actor, appearing on shows like the acclaimed crime dramas Dragnet 1967 and Judd for the defense until 1968, when he landed a minor role in the Steve McQueen Oscar-winning smash Bullitt. After a string of TV dramas like the Golden Globe-winning Medical Center and spy adventure Mission Impossible, Brown won the role of Officer Terry Webster on the hit cop series The Rookies. The show lasted for 4 seasons, after which he portrayed Tom Harvey, the great-grandson of Kunta Kinte, in the groundbreaking slavery-centric miniseries Roots in 1977 and in Roots: The Next Generations in 1979. 2 years later, he had a major role in Stir Crazy, the comedy smash starring Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor. In 1985, he started working behind the camera, eventually directing several episodes of cop dramas like Hill Street Blues and Cagney and Lacey, which won him his first Emmy for Best Directing. Brown went on to direct several TV movies throughout the 1990s and the first half of the 2000s, occasionally popping up in front of the camera on TV series like the family law drama Judging Amy and the female-driven medical drama Strong Medicine. His most recent major role was as James Sutherland on Nip Tuck, a drama series created by Ryan Murphy that centers on 2 plastic surgeons, the decadence that surrounds them. He is now 81 years old. We really love the cast of Roots. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, please like, comment, and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. See you on the next video.